Hello, everybody. I'm Eli. I'm joined by
Leonard.
We are kind of like the big lore guys when it comes to the Tree of Life campaign. So
Yeah,
we're
big
just
lore guys. We're large men.
gigantic men.
Yeah. So we're gonna be talking about just generally the idea of the World of Nin, I guess.
And what you need to know, because
before you start on the grand voyage of watching every single campaign.
we know you're doing that.
Of course.
My name's Eli. I am the GM for the Tree of Life campaign.
I already said my name. It's Leonard, if you forgot. I did some lore recently. I'm like the second largest lore man.
Yeah, and then he plays Skrez in the main campaign.
Skrez the rat.
Skrez the rat. All right, so we're gonna start with basically the big issue in the world, and that is the Great Schism.
The gods left.
They're gone. They don't talk to mortals. The Great Schism happened about 18 years ago from where the campaign started, and it basically consisted of the gods left and aren't talking to the mortals anymore. 5 years after the gods left, there was kind of a period of time where no magic was able to be casted. Eventually, clerics found ways around this, and sorcerers kind of evolved more so that they could still perform magic without the gods' aids. This period of time led to many wars across the areas as kind of the gods left, and a lot of countries' security also left. Another quite large issue in the World of Nin is the Cult of Fenrir. The Cult of Fenrir also originated after the Great Schism.
They like Fenrir.
They like Fenrir, which is, if you don't know Norse mythology,
a wolf man.
Big wolf that kind of represents everything that's traitors and treacherous in the world. And Fenrir is not considered a god. He is a great old one. Cthulhu-esque, if you will. So, his cult has been growing in power ever since the gods left.
Because people are like, well, this guy has power.
It's pretty neat.
Well, might as well follow him if the gods aren't here.
So we're going to go through a brief overview of a bunch of countries, and then,
Yeah, just the general most important aspects of everything you need to know.
Alright, we'll start where the campaign started, which is Ebhir. Ebhir is a pretty stereotypical kingdom. It was found by Barhild Mistshard in 1000 BGS, but that's not important for our story.
No, who cares? Who cares about that?
The party itself had actually killed a janissary from this region, leaving a rather large power vacuum when they left. Also, in this area, the cult of Razmir ran rampant and caused many issues with the natives.
Until they got killed.
Until the cult also got defeated by the group. Ebhir also has one of the largest prison facilities in the entire continent of Akira in the World of Nin, which is the continent the story takes place.
The Cool Cog.
The Cool Cog.
The prison.
The Cog is essentially a large prison complex where it's pretty impossible to escape, but the party escaped because it's the party.
Okay, next country. I don't care about Ebhir. Let's go.
Well, if you don't care about Ebhir, you're probably not going to like the next country, which is Ebbia.
They sound very similar.
Yes, they do sound pretty similar because Ebbia was actually part of Ebhir before a large revolution took place. Ebbia was also a pretty normal kingdom in the scheme of things until about 20 years before the main campaign takes place.
When they became a republic, right?
They did become a republic. They actually overthrew the king and threw him to a small island north of them. Well, not the king,
which
but his
you
son.
Can see on the map. It's the one with the boat on it, right?
Yep, the one with the boat on it. Ashlan Ivarak, who was one of the PCs in the beginning, mother was actually the prime senator of Ebbia. And the big issue with that is the senators took a vow of chastity as they didn't want to be seen as potentially having nepotism by having their children take power. We're going to jump to well, which one do you feel like going over, Leonard?
Well, yeah, let's talk about Kilwin.
Awesome. Kilwin is a rather large country, and it actually exists inside of a large crater caused by the Wormwood meteor.
A big rock that hit the World of Nin.
And this rock allowed for flow metal to develop. What's flow metal, you might ask? Well,
nobody really knows, but it's a metal that kind of flows around a bit, and you use it to create a lot of advanced technology.
Most special part about it is that it is a very active conduit for magic, hence the name flow metal. Kilwin is also the area where the party was able to go and get an airship. So very important for the progression of the party. Let's jump to Matera next.
Okay, so Matera, probably my favorite country on the map. They do a lot of trading. If you look at Matera, you see they have a lot of rivers moving in and out of the country, a lot of strategic borders to other countries, including Abia, Kilwin, Kimpia, and Hutaiki, the worst country. So basically, what you need to know about Matera is it's ruled by 5 different families, the 5 largest and most powerful families. It's currently being blockaded by a guy, the Blood God, who is causing some issues.
Why is the Blood God causing issues?
Well, you see, the Blood God, he really doesn't like trade.
Oh.
He comes from far away. He's sailing onto this world. And he's not that lucky. He ends up in the country who loves trade the most.
That does seem like an issue.
Yeah, so he's kind of like, I don't like these people. Let's blockade their trade so they don't do any of that sinful stuff anymore. And they have some disputes in their country about that. Some political situations they're in that the party's involved in. Yeah, anything else important about Matera, you think?
Artelus, which is the capital.
Artelus, the capital, located on a large drained island inside a swamp.
Pretty cool location to go to if you're on a nice... feel like going into a nice swamp on a nice swampy day.
They have a lot of mosquitoes there.
Yeah.
Something that hasn't really developed that much in lore, which I'm a big proponent of course, is the salmon-like fish that have spider legs extending out of their bodies, so they can go both above land and below water.
Which Leonard has been convincing me to try and include in the campaign. And I thought about it. In fact, I almost had that jump onto Opal's leg instead of an alligator. But
yeah, that's the deep lore in this campaign. Next country, I think we should go with the Sinlands.
The Sinlands, all right. So the Sinlands are pretty interesting because
pretty full of sin.
Pretty full of sin. Well, not sin, more like sand. It's a very desert and dry and hot
call it the
place.
Sandlands?
Sandlands doesn't sound very fun. Sinlands is...
Yeah.
The Sinlands is a pretty big country. There's lots of desert, there are lots of arid regions, and they're controlled by 13 tribes. It's actually ruled by the Sultan Constantine in the town of Constan. Very confusing.
Yeah. My friend here even mixed it up with himself, although you won't hear that part of the video.
Yes.
It's cut footage. He's trying to hide it from me.
The Sultan in the area is actually also a Jinn, because Jinn are the main kind of controllers of that area, and Jinn are genie. Lots of different types of genies rule different tribes in the Sinlands.
And then I guess we'll move on to the...
Aboleth Bay. A great area to go if, well, you're itching...
For a pirate.
For pirates.
If you're really itching for those pirates, then yeah, go down to Aboleth Bay, a big archipelago in the southeast of the map. They have a lot of trade directed to them. Very strategic location. You can go north into the Sinlands or the Hard Isles, and you can move west onto the Hollis Ocean into most of the southern countries like Matera and Hutaiki.
Ratfolk are only really prominent in Aboleth Bay as the scum of villainy that is pirates. Well, it promotes their behaviors.
Did you just call my people scum?
Moving on, let's look at the country of Roar. Can we guess what's there?
Things that say roar.
Can you be more specific?
The dinosaurs.
Yep, dinosaurs live in Roar. That's all you need to know about it.
They don't really have anything else except people getting eaten by dinosaurs sometimes.
Pretty fun.
And I think we should move on to the God-Touched Isle.
The God-Touched Isles, also known as the Infinite Isle, is a island split between the Sunlands and...
Starlands.
The Starlands. The Sunlands are controlled by Aasimars, and the Starlands are controlled by Tieflings.
All of the Tieflings are purple.
No, there are also tribes on the Starlands that are various different colors besides purple. Not just purple.
Some are purple.
Some are purple. In fact, 2 of our party members are purple Tieflings. The Sunlands is also controlled by the Aasimars, but it has recently become a puppet state of the Starlands. After the Great Schism, the Starlands invaded and overthrew the Monarchern, which is the ruler of the Sunlands, typically a female, and instead installed King Modril. King Modril has now been ruling the Sunland with an iron fist, and his inhabitants don't like him very much. He has also enforced a blockade on all trade from the Sunlands and has prohibited any Aasimars from leaving. Which is pretty strange because we have an Aasimar in our group, do we not?
Yeah, we do.
It's kind of weird.
They must have escaped earlier.
Must have. I mean, there's no other explanation.
Of course.
Of course not.
Hey guys, if you watch all the campaign videos, in one of the videos, we're going to tell you the origin story of that Aasimar. So, guys, you should watch all of them.
You should.
All the way through.
It's quite fun. Now we're just going to do honorable mentions of the other countries. Ofa.
Also known in a regional dialect as Ofa.
It's pretty much just rock people. The Orids live there.
And gnomes. Don't forget the gnomes.
And the Sylphs.
The Sylphs, also known as the Bofins.
The Sylphs also live there, and they live along with the Orids and the gnomes, and basically are all tribal, and they come together every once in a while to install a leader in the town of Histria.
And then we have Huachaiki, very tribal country full of short people, right?
Halflings, to be more specific. Next we have Kimpia, which is...
We can't tell you that.
We can't tell you much about. Vanka is ruled by a bunch of orcs, and Okanithia is, well, Russia. It's Russia.
We forgot Innisfree.
Oh.
And the Hard Isles.
And the Heart Isles. Well, we'll get to that then. Innisfree is a rather shut-in place. Not much trade has gone in or out.
I thought it had N in the name.
It does have N in the name. However, their only main export seems to be people. Not in a slave trade, but in more of a, they train people, and these people can then go out and lead soldiers and militaries. You know, one of their most prominent recruits was Gideon Bane.
Gideon Bane, I've heard of that guy.
Yeah. Weird. He also became the Janissarian Epir.
Oh, that's interesting. It all ties together at the end.
Yeah. You know, I hope nothing wrong happens with Gideon.
Yeah, Gideon Bane seemed like a pretty upstanding individual.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. And then we have the Hard Isles, the star of the show. The party's never been there. The party's never been to the Hard Isles.
But they should be going soon. They have a direction that's pointing them there.
Keyword is they should be going there.
That is the keyword.
That means they're probably not going to end up there for like years worth of sessions.
At least a couple years. Hard Isles is also most prominently known for the Tree of Life,
which shares its name with the campaign. Must be important in some way.
That does make sense. And with that, I think we wrap up all of the countries of the world. I don't think we left any out besides Kimpia, but we can't talk about Kimpia yet.
Yeah, Kimpia is a bit too exciting for you. We'll have to make a video all on its own about Kimpia.
Cults. We could talk about cults. There are 3 main cults.
Cult of Razmir, Cult of Fenrir, Cult of the Blood God.
Exactly. All 3 cults don't necessarily worship an actual god, because as you remember, the gods aren't talking to us anymore.
But what if some gods are, though?
That is an interesting proposition. Are you supposing that the blood god is an actual god?
He might be. I mean, have we checked him out yet in the campaign?
I don't think you guys have. Well, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, seeing if he's true to his word.
And of course, there's Fenrir, who has had many little fun adventures with the group. You know, he almost made Oloran kill, like, the entire party.
But, that was averted when Oloran killed himself instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fenrir is a real nice guy.
Fenrir, real nice guy. We're going to do a little more explanation of our kind of outside of character kind of view of the campaign. I am the GM, but I do really encourage my players to write a lot of the lore themselves, to make it so that their characters intertwine with the lore quite often. A pretty good example of this is the character Lastiel. Lastiel really started a lot of the history of this world, and I'd like to thank Shayla, the player of that character, for allowing me to do that. Along with Ashlyn, who is played by Shayna, she also allowed a lot of the lore to be written. The way that I DM, I focus very specifically on not railroading the players. This means that the players are typically free to go wherever they want. That can lead to a couple of issues.
Some delays sometimes.
Some delays. But I do believe it is best for kind of a fluid feeling campaign. So, I hope we can see all of you tuning in to our first sessions once they go live.
Yeah, where we tell you all the lore we didn't tell you here.
I want to thank all of you for watching this. Do we tell them to, like, subscribe?
I mean, I guess. Yeah, we kind of have to.
It's like a YouTuber thing, right?
Yeah, it's a ritual by this point.
Okay, yes.
Guys, subscribe and hit the bell button to get all of the newest Pathfinder updates from the World of Nin campaign. And post a comment down below. It really helps with our algorithm. So, smash that like button. I don't know.
That's great. No, I like that. I think we keep that.
Yeah, that's going to be the outro for all videos.
And I would like to add that if any of you have any questions, please post questions in comments. I will answer them to the best of my abilities without giving away too much. Oh, one last thing. If you like any of this, feel free to use in your own campaign. I'm not going to track you down and beat you up.
Although I might.
Yeah, he might.
Eli doesn't restrain me.
But, folks, I hope you enjoyed, and make sure to tune into our sessions. We'll see you there.
All of the tieflings are purple.
No,